Hello and welcome to Setting Up Your Business and Getting Your First Clients. So this module is all about the business and how to set up the massage business and get your massage clients that you love to work with. So whether you're already a business owner or you're brand new, these slides will help you craft your mini business plan to get yourself started in the massage business world. So grab yourself a cup of tea and we'll get going. So we are going to cover the logistics of setting up your massage business. So that is the location of where you're going to work, how you're going to work, whether home, clinic, things like that. We're going to focus on creating the business that you want with the clients that you want to serve. So it's about choosing the types of clients you like to work with and really modeling your business to suit you. And then lastly, we're going to focus on getting clients and creating that first class service that outshines everybody in the area. And it's just being different. So being a different type of therapist, giving the best possible service to get the best possible results and support for your clients. The first section is the logistics of setting up your massage business. So we're going to talk about location for setting up your sports massage business. And these four places are the most common to set up any sort of massage practice. So the first one is working with a clinic, and that might be working under a physiotherapy clinic or an osteo clinic's brand. The next one is a room rental. So you hire a room from somebody, whether it's on a full day, a half day, a full week, or just a few hours a week basis. The next you've got is home visits. So you can see my little picture of carrying my couch on my trolley. So I did home visits when I first moved to London, which I'll tell you about a bit later on in the slides. And then you've also got clients coming to you. So if you have a designated space at home that you feel comfortable for clients to come into your home, then that can work for you. So breaking it down, we're going to focus on clinic to start with. So things you want to consider when you're working within a clinic. So this might be a local physiotherapy clinic or an osteo clinic or even a podiatry clinic. There's a few things you want to consider first of all. So first of all, whether it's going to be a room rental or a percentage split at the clinic. So room rental, they might sublet the room to you for a certain amount of hours per week. Another option, which is really common, is they do a percentage split. And what that means is that they often provide you the clients, and then they might do a 50-50 split of the cost of that client. So if a client session is £60 and they take 30, you take 30. And that model works well if you're just starting out in business and you just want to get hands-on and practice. It's a really good place to start. And when I very first started in massage, I did that in London at a massage clinic, and I just got lots more practice hands-on, was getting paid for it. So that worked well as I was starting out. But obviously after a little while, then there's a ceiling on how much you can earn in terms of the clients that come in and see you at the space. And if you want to earn a bit more and maybe work less, that model doesn't really have the longevity that you might want it to have. Another thing to think about is whether the clients are theirs or your clients, because often it's a percentage split, but you are a contractor, so you're still a self-employed therapist. And some therapy spaces will ask you to sign an agreement to say that the clients that they provide you are their clients and you're working with their clients. So just look at that in a bit more detail if you're going to be working with a physiotherapy clinic, and have that chat with the owner to find out if the clients they bring to you are their clients or your clients, and then also the clients that you bring to the space are your clients or their clients. It's a really important question to ask. The next is room rental, and a room rental might be a room within a gym or even a therapy studio, or within a doctor's surgery, hairdressers, anywhere that they have that space available. So, and you'd be surprised actually how many businesses have a room at the back of their business or at the side of their business for therapies. So start to have a look around. Things like Gumtree are quite useful, or just Google. Actually, people have a lot on Google as well. And when it comes to room rental, there's usually lots of options. So you might be able to do a full-time, 24/7, 7 days a week room rental. So that's your room. Or some places give you options whether you can rent for a full day a week, a half day a week, or just a few days a week, because there might be other therapists that also want to have that flexibility. And that combination seems to work quite well. Personally, myself, I have a room rental. I have 2 rooms within a therapy space that I rent out to other therapists. So they have their own business within the umbrella of my business. And that works out really well because we have a team of therapists that can collaborate and support each other. but they're all really focusing on their own business and growing their own personal business, which for me that works really well as a model, but other places might work slightly differently. Just be mindful, if you are taking a space, you are tied in usually to a longer term contract. It might be a year. So you need to make sure that that room rental is right for you at that right time. And try and find a room as you're starting out that doesn't have to include things like business rates and things like that, because then that sets that expense a lot higher to start with when you're just setting up. So I would recommend, if you're going to take a room full time or a few hours a week, find something that's already within a space that you don't have to cover the cost of business rates. So home visits. And home visits means that you take your couch with you, you take your towels, you take your lotions into your car or whatever means of travel that you do, and you travel to that person's location for massage. So a few things you need to consider. One is the travel time. So you want to make sure that you factor enough travel time either side, but also factor that into your costings, because if you're charging £60 for a session, but actually you're traveling for an hour, a half an hour either side, then really that's a 2 hour appointment. So you need to factor that into your costing. So don't charge your home visit prices the same as you would as a clinic. Other things to consider is lifting couches. Now, as you know, couches are heavy, so between 12 and 16 kilos is the average portable couch. And if you're lifting that in and out of your car, into people's homes, especially if they have stairs, that's quite tiring on the body. So you may not be able to do as many clients as you wish within a day than you would if you had one set location. And also thinking about that setup and set down time as well, because you have to take everything in, set everything up, and then also take everything down, tidy everything away before you leave. So just think about your timing and what works right for you. So when I first started out in massage, I did some home visits. So I didn't have a car at this point. I wasn't sure if I was going to continue with massage. I wanted to test the waters, and I couldn't have people coming to my house. So I used my couch. I travelled on the train, the tube, the bus, with my trolley, in and out of people's houses, and it worked to a degree. It fitted in with what I was currently doing with my work, but it was really tiring. And I would get to the end of the week and I'd be absolutely exhausted, but not have done that many sessions. So changing to a location made a big difference to me, because I was able to recoup my energy back. I could see more patients throughout the day, and I just wasn't dealing with travel stress, which was a big factor for me. And finally, talking about setting up your business at your house. And there's just a couple of things to consider when you're dealing with clients coming to your home and you're having a home-based massage practice. So the first one is clients may have to come through your home depending on where your massage space is. If you have a side entrance or an outbuilding for massage, that's great, because you can set yourself up. Your business is away from home and you haven't got clients coming through your house throughout the day. Alongside that, if you do have clients coming through your house and you want to make sure your house is as tidy as possible, to present yourself in the best way possible. So if you have clients coming in through your hallway into your lounge or whatever, you want to make sure that it's as tidy as you want it to be. Another thing to think about is when you're working with your clients within your home space, sometimes that balance between home and work life gets a little bit blurry. So if you can have a designated space that you can provide massage services in a specific room or a specific space. The upside of working from home is there is no rental costs for any space, and there is also no travel costs. So there are good pros in terms of setting up your business at home. Other places that you might find useful for work are offices, sports clubs, and event work. So, offices, first of all, in London especially, it's been really popular to have a well-being program, a wellness program for employees, whether it's company paid or it's employee paid and then subsidised by the company. I currently work in two places in London providing office wellness. So in one space, I go in once a month. They have a couch there ready for me. I just set it up in the morning. I do 6 hours of massage over the whole day with a lunch break, 20 minutes per client. And I've been doing that now for nearly about 2.5 years. And they found it really beneficial to give the employees a little bit of downtime. I give them some posture advice, a couple of exercises, but also it's not just neck and shoulder work, because we have our own designated space with a couch. Sometimes it might be sports related massage, so any niggles and things, because some of the employees are exercising a lot outside of work. And that's quite lucrative in terms of financials, but also it's a really good place to see as many people as possible and really offer more work to as many people as possible. And from the office massage, I've been able to pick up regular clients at my clinic from that space. Sometimes offices will ask you to come in to do massage at desks and things like that, and that can be really useful. But for me, I prefer to work within a space where I can have my couch set up ready to go. The next one is sports clubs, and it might be worth looking into connecting or collaborating with other sports clubs. They may not have space available, but you might be able to go in and do a pop-up sports massage clinic within a squash club or a tennis club, or within some football or rugby, and that can seem to work quite well as well. And then lastly is event work. And this is really good fun as part of your work. And I used to do quite a lot of for years ago, not so much now, where I'd go to an event either created by or organised by somebody else, and I would go and support, or I would go and organise the massage event work as part of this big event. So the bottom right picture, you can see we've got a gazebo, massage couches underneath, and that was a obstacle course event. So think about obstacle course events, cycle events, running events. All the big ones, such as London Marathon, have designated charity massage providers, which you will volunteer at. But sometimes you get paid for the work, or you can generate income from the work as well. So what we did at some of the massage events for Bear Grylls was we paid for the space, and then we just took an income per massage, and that seemed to work quite well. What I found more beneficial is more of the local ones, so the local events. I did a local cycle ride, a local obstacle course race, a local running race, and that seemed to be a little bit more suitable for my business and my types of clients. But it's good fun to add some event work into your practice. It's a really good place to also meet other therapists, see how other people work, and just get to know people. And event work doesn't need to be restricted into the UK. With event work, I've been to Lithuania, I've been to Hungary, I've been to Amsterdam, so it can be widespread because some of those sporting events take you outside of the UK. The next part of this presentation is looking at your goals and whys. Now, this is all about your business development, creating the business and the reasons why you want to create your business to work for you, but also the goals that you want to achieve as well. So with this part of the presentation, there are lots of questions that I will ask you. So it's really useful, it can be really useful if you start writing things down at the same time, pause the presentation, answer the questions, and then continue. So you can create it as a working document. Before we go any further in planning the business, we always need to start with the reasons why we do what we do. So for you, I want you to think about, why is setting up your massage business important? Or why are you setting up your massage business? What will it mean to you, and why? And if we think about those whys, that gives us the passion and the drive to focus on creating the business that we love. So your why might be, I want to help my clients further because I know I need to help them deeper in terms of their posture, but I'm getting stuck. Or it's to create a business and be completely self-sufficient away from the family. Or it could be, I want to do something completely different. It's a completely change of career to work with people more independently. Whatever your why is, it's personal to you, but it's always important to write that down to start with. So why are you setting up your massage business, and why did you do this course? So you want to start thinking about what is different about you. When you come to start practicing, you might do a bit of research, or you may have already done it and had a look at which massage therapists are in the area. Now, depending on where you live, the chances are there's probably going to be lots. Both myself and Pentony live and work around the London and Essex areas, and there are many, many, many sports massage therapists in the area. But that's absolutely fine because everyone works differently, and one client may prefer one type of therapist and vice versa. But I want you to take some time and write down, why do people want to come and see you rather than seeing that Joe Bloggs therapist down the road? Why do they take the time to book with you rather than booking with Joe Bloggs down the road? So just take some time, grab yourself a notepad and write down why your clients see you. What is different about you? In terms of your business and your practice, you want to be different, you want to stand out, as there is only one of you. And it's important to let people know about you and why you can help them. And here are just some images of little things that can help make you stand out and be different. So the first one is I give my clients little gifts at times. So it may be Epsom salts, tea bags, resistance bands, massage balls, depending on what they need. It might be the location. Now, this is Jo's clinic, and it's a wonderful space that she practices from, really calming and inviting. I often send little videos out of exercises to all of my clients, and Pentally does the same thing as well. It'll be bespoke depending on what they need and what their symptoms and discomfort levels are and what they need to be focusing on as their home care. But I get those personalised videos on top of their massage session. So take a few moments now and think about how you can be different, how you can stand out, and what things that you can add into your service to be different from Jo Blogs down the road. So once you have your why, we can then focus on your goals and what you're trying to achieve. And that means setting up some milestones ahead along the way. So firstly, I want you to ask yourself these 4 questions. Question 1, if money, time, resources was completely in abundance, what do you want your business to look like? So if you had all the time, the money and all the resources in the world, what would your business look and feel like? Question 2, how much do you want to earn within a year? Question 3, how many clients do you want to see within a week? And question 4, how many clients do you want to see in a day? And by answering these questions, you have an idea of what you want your business to look and feel like. You also then have how much you need to earn per year. And that financial number per year could be based on a number that you need to survive and thrive. It could be a number that you just want to be able to achieve, that's your focus. It could be any number that's really important to you. But then once we have that number, we can start working out, okay, so how many clients do you need to see within a week to get that number, taking into account holidays, time off, and then you can break it down further and how many clients you want to see in a day to be able to achieve that number. And then you can start from there working out how much your client and your hourly rate will cost. Now we can focus on looking at your ideal clients. So marketing to everyone is a challenge. So if you're marketing to every single type of person that can take massage, that's quite a difficult challenge. But focusing and choosing a particular type of client to work with sets you up as an expert and makes your marketing so much easier. So these questions I want you to answer to find out who your ideal client is. So question 1, who is your ideal client? And you might have this idea already from the clients that you currently work with if you already have your own business in health and wellness or even in massage. But if you don't, think about the clients that you've been practicing on over the last 5 months and which clients did you like working with more? Or you might have seen a presenting posture issue that you love to work with rather than working with more sports work. So think about the type of client that you really like working with because that's often your ideal client. Then think about what their problem is. So if your ideal client is someone who spends a lot of time at their desk and they get neck and shoulder pain, then the problem is the neck and shoulder pain. And that might result in time off work, more stress at work. So you can start digging deeper into their problem. Then we can look at their why and why they are coming to see you. So their why might be, I want to loosen up my neck and shoulders because it's getting to a point now I don't like coming to work because I'm always in pain when I'm at my desk. Or they get headaches in the evening just from lots of tension. They want to be relaxed when they come home and see their family. So their why isn't always, I want to just feel a bit looser. There's always an emotion attached to that. So think about why they might be coming to see you. And you might already have some of those answers from the case study that you've been working with, but also your logbook clients as well. And then think about just their general information, so the gender, the age, their profession. And with all that information, you can write a little story about your client, which helps you to get to really know them. And then you make your marketing and your voice just so much easier to do. So one example, so we'll go back to that neck and shoulder client. It might be a lady called Louise. She is 42. She works in the city in accounts and she spends 10 hours a day at her desk. Monday to Friday, and maybe sometimes on a weekend as well. She's starting to get neck and shoulder pain from being at a desk all the time. She's had posture assessments at work, and they've all said it's all fine. She's had her computer assessed, and they all said that's in the right place, but she's still getting this pain. She doesn't really exercise much at the moment. She might go and do a yoga class now and again, which helps with her stress levels, but she's still got this pain. But when she gets home in the evening, it often gets a little bit worse before it gets better when she sits on the sofa with her family. So her goal is she wants to just feel so much looser in her shoulders, but also to stop that pain from affecting her life at work and also in the evening when she's with her family. So there you can see that little short story about my fake client Louise and what's going on with them. And you can just write your own story up, or you can take an example from one of your clients that you've seen based on their case history and think, yeah, actually, I like working with that type of client. I'm going to focus on my marketing on that type of client. The next section of this presentation is all about your branding and your marketing and getting that all right to attract the clients that you want to work with and to grow and thrive in your sports massage business. So branding, and when it comes to branding, it can be a minefield. There are so many people able to write logos for you, do infographics or your social media posts, create the color schemes that you need, and that's all works really well if you've got the time and the money to do so. So for someone to create a logo and some colours with some fonts might cost you about £600 to create all that information, which is quite an expense when you're just starting out. One website which I absolutely love for all of my social media work, all of my posting, my ebooks, everything is Canva. It's relatively, well, it's free for the basic part of the account. And with that, you can create every type of graphic that you need. So you can create your logo, you can create Facebook headers, ebooks, newsletters, social media posts, Instagram posts, flyers, posters, invites, gift certificates, you name it. All your branding collateral is covered within Canva. You've got lots of different fonts. You can work with different colors. If you want to add photos, sometimes you have a little charge for the photos. It might be a couple of, I think it's about £1, I think, or maybe it's $1. It's not very expensive. You can upgrade to about £10 a month and you get all the super duper features, but the free version is pretty amazing already. So I use that for all of my content. So what I would recommend to do, if you want to save some time, save a bit of money and not spend out on getting a branding person to create that logo, go into Canva first of all and create something simple that you can get started with. So you can get your logo set up on here and all the graphics that you need to start marketing. And when it comes to the colours of your website and your logo and your branding, it's really important to get colours that suit you and feel right for you. And that could be anything. There's different research say warmer colours feel better for certain therapies and cooler colours feel better for certain therapies. In massage therapy, you always see a lot of blue. One of my businesses has got quite a lot of blue, and Pentony also has blue in her marketing as well. So you choose a colour that feels right for you. And you always want to have, I think they say the magic rule of like 3 or 5 in terms of the colours. So you want to have 3 or 5 different colours that you can work with. And one of them might be white. A really good way to look at deciding what colours you want and which colours match and which go together is using the Adobe Color website. And it's really cool to use. So you choose a colour that you like, and then it gives you different options. So you can choose colours that are opposite to each other, colours that are compound, different shades of colours. So you can work out other colours that might be suitable for your branding and your collateral. And I find this really useful when teaming it up with Canva. Again, Adobe Color is another free website, so it's a really good tool to use when you're just starting out. Next, we're going to look at your website, and your website is so important to have so people can find you on all those search engines to be able to get to know you, like you, and then contact you to arrange an appointment. So I want you to think about your website as your shop window. As therapists, we often don't have a physical building, a shop window on a high street. So a website is that shop window, a virtual shop window. It needs to look good. It needs to be update and with regular content. I don't know about you, but if I'm searching for somebody for a type of service or product, if their website is really old and it looks like a 1990s website, then for me, I'm thinking, oh, how up to date are they? Are they still in business? I like to look at websites that are new, up to date, that look like they're kept alive, because I know their business is kept alive. So it's something you have to constantly add content to as you go along. And that content can be things like blogs, new pages. There's lots of different options, which we'll talk about later in the presentation. And one thing you need to really make sure is that people can find you on Google. If you have a website that's all singing or dancing that looks wonderful, but no one can find it, it's a waste of time. So you want to make sure that you've got good search engine optimization on your website to be able to get that website higher on Google. And there's two ways you can create your website. The first one is doing it DIY, so do it all yourself. And the second one is you pay a web designer to create that website for you. And we're going to explore both of those. So the first one is DIY, so doing it all yourself. And the big bonus about a DIY website is it's free. There is only the cost of the domain, which might cost you £30–40 a year, but the rest of it is free, which is really important if you're trying to save costs when you're just starting out. But on the flip side of that, it is really time consuming. And when I say time consuming, I really mean it takes a lot of your time to get right, especially if you want something that looks good and feels good and has all the things that you want to add in there. And alongside that, you also have to do a lot of learning, which makes it even more time consuming, because you need to learn about how to create the website, but most importantly, how to get it found. So how to do your search engine optimization. And it can be done. People create websites all of the time. I've created my own website for one of my businesses, and I did that on my own. I had some time to do so, and that worked well. But now I know how much time it takes, I get someone to help me. And you might find as you want to do your own website, there might be a designer that might help you with the first part, so all the back end stuff to get it up, and then you create the content and create the design of it from there, but they do all the back end stuff, which might be a cheaper option when you just start. And the other option is to pay a web designer to do so. So a web designer's average costs for a themed website is about £500 to £800, depending on where you are and what they offer. They might be a bit cheaper, but you want to make sure they have everything in there to get that website live and also found on Google. When I mean a themed website, platforms such as WordPress, which is a web platform, have different themes where you can purchase, and then they just drop. It's basically a drag and drop type of website, so it's quite easy to use, but the web designer will use that theme, saying you can update those pages, but does all the back end stuff in lots of detail and gets it all ready for you with the logo in the right place, all that sort of work, so you don't have to do that much. The bonus is it's created by an expert. So if you don't want to learn, you don't have the time to learn about SEO and websites, this is the way to go if you can afford that £500 to £800. And you know that they're going to create the website that's right for you. If you are going to find a designer, shop around, get some recommendations, look at websites. It's really important you find someone that does some work for you, that works really well for you. There are lots of designers out there that their work is more questionable than others, so really do your research, because if you're spending out a lot of money on a website, you want to make sure that it is looking and feeling amazing and it works really well for you. Social media. So social media is a really good place as part of your shop front to get people to know, like, and trust you. And there are millions of platforms out there that you can use. I've just labeled a few in the image below. But what I would suggest, rather than trying to do all, however many are, maybe 10, 11, 12, I'm not sure, focus on the ones where your clients are going to be. So if your client is imagine my client Louise at her desk in accountancy, it's less likely that she's going to be on a platform such as Snapchat, but she might be on Facebook, she might be on Pinterest, she might be on Twitter or LinkedIn. So think about where your clients are going to be and post in those platforms. So don't try and spread your time thin over all platforms. Choose the platforms where your clients are going to hang out most commonly. I find for my work, Facebook works really well. I do a little bit of work on Twitter and then Instagram also, but choose which one works for you. Website and social media content. And when you're creating your content, or you're starting to create your content, it can be a little bit of a minefield to know what to talk about, how to talk about it, where to post, and how to create it. So here are a few ideas to help you get started. So the first one is writing your blogs. Now, blogs are so important, because what they do is they help improve your rating and your ranking on search engine engines such as Google or Bing. So the more blogs you write, the better located you are on those search engines. And when it comes to writing blogs, you can answer questions. So a really good way of finding out what to write about, pop into Google a question that your client might want to answer or might want to ask to get that answer, and then that's your blog title. Next is videos. Now, videos are really good for social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram. They really like videos, and obviously YouTube as well. So get practicing with your videos. You might want to talk about a little bit about yourself, how you work. It could be a video testimonial from a client or some top tips to help somebody, but get as many videos as you can. The more that you do, the easier it becomes. That leads into testimonials, and the best way to tell people about what you do is to get other people to do it for you. So your client testimonials are gold. Now, over the last 5 months, you've done your case study and you've done 36 massages. So you might have a good group of clients in there that you've really helped. And I know from hearing and speaking to you, you've had lots of good feedback from your clients. So get them to write a testimonial about it. And because I've had lots of amazing free massages from you, they might be willing to a video testimonial. The next are memes and quotes, and these can be little Facebook posts that you bump up your social media content with simple things that people can read, they like, they might share. It could be based on well-being generally or more sports specific related. Top tips are always really useful. People like to know top tips for something. It's short, it's sharp, it's quite snappy, and you can create it into a post or an infographic, so it's quite visual as well. And then lastly, people always like to know what you're doing. Some of my posts that are really irrelevant to the work that I do seem to get quite a good rating in terms of likes, shares, comments. So add a bit about you into your social media so they get to know you as well. It might be that you might be taking part in a fun run or a marathon, or you might have done something amazing in your personal life that you want to share about. Sometimes those things can get quite a lot of attention, which then helps your social media content. So how to put content together. And as I said, it sometimes can be a little bit of a minefield on what to do, but you can recycle your content in so many different ways. And here is an example of how you can do that. So firstly, you want to write a blog about, as an example, how to improve your posture at a computer. It's probably going to be searched in Google quite a lot, so it's a good question that you can answer. So you write your blog, about 500 words, add some links to your other pages in your website, add some good photos, and that's your blog for your website. Now you've got all this content, so you can just reuse it and then create a short video about the content from the blog. So the short video could be the video of the exercises that you recommended or the stretches that you've recommended in your blog. So just a short video, a couple of minutes long or a minute for Instagram, showing a couple of the exercises. And if you want to do a series, you might have discussed 5 exercises in your blog. That could be 5 short videos, which then can be posted on social media. Then with that same content, you might have a photo of one of the stretches that you've described in your blog and your video. So get someone to take a photo of you doing the exercise, add it into a social media post with a little bit of text, stretch for neck and shoulder pain as an example. So then you've got 3 pieces of content from the one blog that you've researched and written about. Then you can create a Euro infographic for the blog content for the social media, which could be top tips. So it could be top tips on how to improve your posture on a computer. So that's less text and more visual, but again, you can add that onto platforms such as Facebook, Pinterest, and they work really well from there. And then lastly, if you get a testimonial from a client who has improved their neck pain at a computer from coming to see you, that's a really good way to tell people about how you can help. So you can add that onto your blog, onto your website. You can create a meme with the testimonial on through Canva, and then you've got extra content there as well. So you can see from one topic about improving your posture at computer, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a video testimonial from your client, maybe 6 different content articles that you can then post out. So if you had this for 5 different topics or 5 different questions, then potentially you've got 25 to 30 different bits of content, and that could be your content over the next couple of months. But the main thing in terms of social media content is you always need to show up and be present, always be there. You can schedule your posts out if you're going away on holiday or you've got a busy time ahead. So plan ahead, schedule your posts in, even if it's just something once every couple of days on Facebook, just so your content is kept being put out there, which then keeps that Facebook page or that other social media platform live and current. Next, we're going to talk about offline marketing. So I spent a lot of time talking about the online stuff and your branding, but we still need to be focusing on what's happening in our local area so they can actually physically get to know you and what you do and how you might be able to help. So when it comes to offline marketing, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, where are your clients? Where do they hang out? So think about my example client, Louise. She works in the city, but she might live in a suburban area near where you live, or you might work in the city. So you'll be focusing on more of the employment side of things of where she works. So find out where your clients hang out, where they socialize, all those things, because that's when you can start drawing your attention to. In the local area, networking groups can be quite useful when you're just starting out to get to know people in the area. When I set my business up, initially, I didn't really know anybody in the area. I just moved into the area. So I found that really useful to get my name out there. It is time consuming, so you need to give yourself a little bit of time because you have to get to know people. But it's a really good place to start in the short term. Events, as we mentioned when we talked about location and where to work, events can be really useful. So whether it could be sporting events, or they might want massage stalls at different fairs and things like that. So have a search around what's happening in your local area. There might be events specific to your type of client as well. So if you want to work with more mums, there are so many mums events in the suburbs around London especially, and then in across the whole of the country. So look at events where your clients are most likely to go. Again, sports clubs, we mentioned that before. So you could do pop-up events at a sports club offering mini massages, or talks at sports clubs as well. Free talks, or talks that you charge a small amount for, so anywhere between sort of £10 and £25. So talks and advice and support on a certain topic. So for Louise, it might be a topic on how to improve your posture at work or something like that. And that could be based closer to where there's lots of companies rather than in the kind of local village or local town. And what I find really useful is to collaborate with other businesses that you can work well together. So not in direct competition, but things that you can kind of support with. So collaboration with physiotherapists. If you're not a personal trainer is a good collaboration. Other clinicians such as osteopathy, podiatry, all those businesses can collaborate really well together as well. And even thinking outside the box, so maybe HR, because they deal with support on well-being of employees. So think outside the box of other businesses that you can collaborate with. You've got sports clubs, local fitness teams, local fitness events. The list is endless, but think about where your clients are and what other businesses would they might go to, attend to, work with, and connect with those businesses, and maybe do some collaboration if it feels right. One thing when it comes to collaborating with the businesses, make sure in your heart that it feels right to do so. If it's a really good synergy and you can work well together, then that's going to work. As you're in business and you're progressing, you always find these relationships come and go. So sometimes you might find someone that you work with really, really well, or sometimes you might work with somebody that you think works well and actually your focuses are slightly different. So always be cautious when you're meeting and collaborating for the first time, but it can be really successful for your business and also to help your clients a little bit further. Financials and pricing. And this is always sometimes a sleepy topic when talking about this with sports massage, but it's really important to get this nailed at the beginning because it's a pain to think about that later on down the line. So firstly, decide on your pricing. Now, pricing is a really tough subject, especially when you're setting up. It's easy to start Googling and seeing what other people charge and charge a similar price. But what I want you to think about is go back to how many hours you can work in your week and your day and how much you want to earn, and that will decide your pricing. So don't worry about outpricing yourself on the regular market, but don't undervalue yourself as well. And if you've already worked out those goals, then you can work out exactly how much you need to earn per client to get to those goals, and that is your price, as I've mentioned. But you want to value yourself and choose a price that reflects you and the wonderful service that you can provide to your clients. Because if you look down the road, there might be a sports massage therapist that might be charging, I don't know, say £40 an hour, and you don't feel comfortable charging that, then charge what you think is worth. Don't just settle for what other people are doing. And also, there could be client therapists that might be charging a lot of money and giving a really bad service, or charging a little bit of money and giving a bad service. So competition searching and comparing isn't really that useful for you. So charge a price that you think reflects on all the good things that you can do to provide with your clients. And your clients will pay. If they get a really good service, clients will pay for that service. Financials. It's really important that you know your numbers in business. You want to know how much money is coming into your business, and also what you're spending your money on. And there are lots of ways to manage this and to keep this under control. So you can use a good old Excel spreadsheet, but there's also lots of free accounting software such as Wave that can help you as well. In terms of money coming in and taking payments from your clients, there are loads of different ways of doing it, from cash payments, card payments, and online payments as well. Cash is great in one aspect because you have that cash coming in, but the challenges that you face is if your client cancels or no shows, then you're going to be down in terms of your the money coming in, but also you have to go to the bank to deposit that cash as well, which is sometimes a hassle when you are busy. Card payments work well as a substitute for cash. I use a card machine called Square, which connects to an app on my phone, and it's a really simple system. The card machine is relatively cheap, it's about £35, and the percentage per transaction is also quite low. So it's a good alternative than having the big card machines that attach to your phone line, especially if you travel around and work mobile. Online prepayments is always really good as well. You can do this and send a link before you see your clients as part of their initial email. You can send them links to get paid through that way, or you can set up monthly membership systems. So I have some clients that pay once a month for their massage, and they come in during that month for their appointment. So lots of different ways of doing it, and I would suggest you find out which one works best for you, but also that you reduce any cash flow changes if clients cancel or there's no shows. So I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I know and we're aware there is a lot to take in when you're setting up your business, and this just gives you a bit of a whistle-stop tour on all the things that you can do and advise to do when you set up your business. So what I would suggest you do from now is you write yourself a really clear to-do list and goals. So work on your milestones for your goals, so you know exactly what you need to do to get yourself started, which then gets rid of the business setup overwhelm. So the best way that I was do this personally, but I would recommend it, is you think about your big task to start with. So that could be getting your website live. And then you think about all the small tasks that are involved in that. So in terms of your website, it might be I need to design the logo, decide on the colors, write and plan all the content pages. And the step-by-step guide or step-by-step process would be things like, right, so I need to go onto Canva and decide on my logo. I need to go onto the Adobe Colors and choose my 3 colors. I need to write a About Me page. I need to write a sports massage page. So you break it down even further, and the more that you break it down, the easier it becomes when you're writing your to-do list. And then, as always, we have to set a date so we know what we're working to. So take all the information you've got, create your to-do list, break it down into small step-by-steps to achieve, and set the business up, the massage business up that you want and that you love to work in.